Hey guys, the Firebird is here, and I'm back, baby! It's been a long time, hasn't it? And there's a reason for that. If you've been on my Discord server or if you check my latest community post, I did mention that I've been very busy with college. Specifically, I've been working on animation, 2D animation, and 3D animation. So I'm gonna upload that here at some point in the future, but Patreons get early access to that stuff. I already have it ready and I'm gonna, upload it to my Patreon soon. So if you guys wanna catch that early or if you're already a Patreon, stay tuned. I'm gonna upload that very soon. I'm also making changes to my Patreon and even my Discord server. So, stay tuned for those announcements. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I plan to change a lot of stuff now that I'm back and I want to reorganize myself and, my channel, a bunch of horror stuff. So, exciting times, I guess. For the movies, we get a couple of announcements, mostly about future movies. It looks like Hasbro's going the Marvel route. We're gonna get a movie every year because we had the Transformers movie coming out next year, June 2022, and we're gonna get a couple of movies coming the following years. So it looks like they're really wrapping up for the reboot, and I'm really excited for it. We're gonna have a lot to talk about in the coming years. But for now, Transformers 7 is gonna start filming in 2 weeks from here. So once that starts, it is my prediction that we're gonna get a trailer by the end of the year. If not by the end of this year, then early January. That's my prediction, because they did the same thing with Bumblebee. I give them a couple of months, maybe until the end of the year, to come up with the first trailer. So, we got plenty of time to speculate and theorize what Autobots and Decepticons we can expect to see in the films. Now, some of you guys might be saying that it might be a bit too early to start guessing which characters will appear in the movie. And while you're a bit right about that, actually, we have plenty, and I mean plenty of evidence for not just the previous movies, some producer statements, the filming locations that we're gonna see for Transformers 7, but even some of the recent trends in terms of the characters, series, and other stuff that Hasbro has been pushing into the front line. We have a pretty clear idea as to some of the characters that we can expect to see in Transformers 7. So this video is kind of my prediction video, so when the movie actually releases, I can look back at this video and be like, man, I was so right about this, or man, I'm so wrong about this. Because I did the same thing for Bumblebee, and for the most part, I got most of Bumblebee right. I did get a lot of things wrong too. I overestimated how many characters were gonna be in the movie. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you my choices, why I chose them, and how many characters we can expect to see. Because I did quite a bit of research on this, and I guarantee you that most of these, at least the Autobot side, is gonna become true. I'm a bit more skeptical about the Decepticons because the Decepticons are always the unpredictable side. You can never really predict the characters that are gonna be in the Decepticon side. But for the Autobots, I have a really clear idea, and I'm 80% confident we're gonna see most of these characters. Now, Transformers 7 recently got confirmed to have a budget of $200 million. I wanna compare that budget to the budget of previous Transformers movies. Transformers 1 had $150 million, Transformers 2 had $200 million, Transformers 3 had $195 million, Transformers 4 had $210 million, and Transformers 5 had $217 million, while Bumblebee, by being a spin-off, had the lowest amount in $135 million. So, Transformers 7 has approximately the same budget as Transformers 2, but it's still lower than Age of Extinction and The Last Knight. Looking at the budget does give us a pretty good idea as to what characters we can expect to see, or how many. Now for Transformers 1, we have 5 Autobots, 8 Decepticons, and 4 extra Allspark mutations. For Transformers 2, which is the same approximate budget we're gonna have for this movie, we had 13 Autobots, 27 Decepticons, and 13 extra Transformers. Transformers 3, we had 15 Autobots and 24 Decepticons, while for Transformers 4, we had 12 Autobots, 9 Decepticons, and Transformers 5 we had 21 Autobots and 8 Decepticons. So using this list, we can estimate at least how many Autobots we can expect to see and at least how many Decepticons we can expect to see. Now before we move on to the Robot Cast, which I know that all of you guys watching this video right now are like, yes, show me which Autobots and Decepticons are gonna appear in the movie. Since I know you guys are very impatient, we're gonna skip right into that part. So, a couple of things we need to keep in mind, especially for the characters I chose for this list, is that Hasbro is going for a more G1 unifying aesthetic, which means that all the Optimus Primes that we see from now on are gonna be more resembling to the G1 Optimus Prime. They're not gonna go like the Bayverse ride, in which some characters look completely different from their G1 counterpart. If we do see characters, you can bet they're gonna have a G1 aesthetic to them, but they're still probably gonna be somewhat Michael Bay-ish, kind of like the B movie did, which I think is the perfect blend between G1 and the Bayverse movies. I think the Transformers from that movie looked amazing. There is also gonna be a bigger focus on the actual robots. The Last Night, Age of Extinction, and the Bumblebee movie did set up this trend. Before, it was mostly the humans and the Autobots and Decepticons will occasionally fight in the background, but as of Age of Extinction, The Last Night, and BB, the Autobots and Decepticons now take center stage. A lot of them have character development, like Bumblebee did in the BB movie, or even Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and a couple of other Autobots and Decepticons that had their moment to shine in The Last Night, despite the movie being garbage. Something else that we need to keep in mind is that Hasbro has more control on what characters and what content makes it into the film. It's not like Michael Bay can just say, hey, I want this, I want that explosion, I want to show this girl's, bra in the film or whatever. We're not gonna get any of that, possibly. And Hasbro needs characters. The reason why, the Transformers movie has so many characters is so that Hasbro can make toys of them and they can sell them. So it's on Hasbro's best interest to have a lot of characters in the movie, but not so much the point that it ruins the film. As the Boeing movie showed, they need a good movie to, win over audiences. They need like an actual storyline, they need actual decent characters, and actual decent robot screen time. Since the Boeing movie came out, we have had Cyberverse and the Netflix or for Cybertron series. Now you guys might be wondering, okay, what does that have to do with anything? Well, the shows usually influence the movies. That's just not always the case, it's usually the other way around. But it also gives us an idea as to what characters Hasbro is, shoving into the limelight, promoting, Bumblebee, Windblade, Optimus Prime, RC, and a couple of others are a perfect example of this, since they get screen time in not only Cyberverse, but also the War for Cybertron series. The movie will also not be directed by Michael Bay, so there will be less explosions and less use of expensive cars, possibly. Which means that money can be used to make more characters and give them more screen time. This is the beginning of the reboot, so they will likely use this movie to set up our main robot cast. So, for the most part, the characters that we see in this movie are characters that are going to stick with us for a long time in the franchise, so we need to pick them carefully. And also, we need to be mindful of the filming locations. So far, we know that they're making principal photography in Canada, but they're also filming in Peru, South America. So my guess is that they're probably going to be filming in the forests, the Andes, the mountains, that kind of stuff. Which I'm going to make a video about why they're filming there, because I have a pretty good idea as to the reason why. It's really interesting, and it's also rumored that they might be filming here in New York, but as far as I know, it's kind of like a meh kind of thing. We're not entirely sure. They might not. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, I held this long enough, so now I'm gonna go to the part as to what Autobots and Decepticons we can expect to see. Now, for the Autobot cast, at the very least, we're gonna see 5 Autobots, same as the first movie, but at maximum, I think we could see 9. 9 is the maximum. We're not gonna see anything more than 9. And 5 is the minimum. The likely number of Autobots we're gonna see is probably gonna be somewhere around 7. There's a decent amount of characters there that you can showcase. So the first 2 are pretty obvious. Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. I mean, Bumblebee got his own movie, he's really popular, it'd be stupid not to have him, and Optimus Prime. So those are no-brainers. They are of course gonna look a lot like their G1 counterparts. They'll probably still resemble their BB movie appearances quite a bit. Bumblebee might change to a different vehicle, probably resembling more of his Cyberverse aesthetic, and so will Optimus Prime, probably, although I'm not a bit unsure about that one. They might modernize his truck, but I'm not sure about that one. Now, for the next option is a returning character, and that's RC. Now, RC has appeared in the War for Cybertron series on Netflix. She has appeared on Cyberverse, she has appeared in the comics, and Quintessa and Shatter did set out the precedent for more female Autobots and Decepticons to appear in the movies. So her appearing in this movie makes a whole lot of sense to me. I think she's all but confirmed at this point, since she also appeared in BB, and she was one of those, characters that everyone was like, whoa, she looks so much like her G1 counterpart, that's so amazing. I think it'll be stupid not to add RC. And for our other 2 characters, I think they're also a no-brainer, Ratchet and Ironhide. These 2 are fan favorite characters. Not having them here would be very, criminal. I think Ironhide is guaranteed gonna appear here. Ratchet I'm a bit unsure about, maybe they'll wanna replace him for a newer character, but Ratchet is popular, so I think having him here is a safe bet. They both appear in the Michael Bay movies that were very popular characters. They appear in War for Cybertron and Cyberverse and are popular G1 characters. So having them appear here makes the most amount of sense. It's very logical if you ask me. So these 5 Autobots are the ones that I think we're guaranteed to see. And the next 4 Autobots are the ones that I'm a bit about. They could appear, but at the same time, it depends on the size of the roster, like how many Autobots they want to add in there or how many they don't want to add in there. My next choice is Wheeljack. Not only did he appear in the BB movie, but he's a popular G1 character, appears in Cyberverse and War for Cybertron. And I think him being the technician of the team, the one who, you know, builds stuff, it could be an interesting Autobot to have in Team Prime. Now, another character that I think they might want to add is Prowl. Now, Prowl has never appeared in the Michael Bay universe, so I think giving him the spotlight in this movie will work quite well, because he's also a G1 character and he was aboard the Ark, appears in season 1 of the original cartoon. I think Prowl makes sense. And also, I don't think all of the characters we're gonna see for the next movie are gonna be characters that we saw in previous movies. We're probably gonna see some new faces too, so I think Prowl is one of those that makes sense. And for the next one is everyone's... I say everyone's, no one likes Brawn, but Brawn did got set up in the BB movie and he does appear in the Bumblebee movie continuation comic. That comic is not confirmed to be canon and it might not be actually canon anymore, but the fact that they had Brawn be the Autobot that makes it to Earth as opposed to, I don't know, RC, Wheeljack or any of the other guys, it's very interesting to me. I think Brawn is one of those that makes the most amount of sense that could carry over to the next movie. And for my last pick is Trailbreaker. Now he's a G1 character and I added him here because, okay, this is gonna be a bit of weird logic, but he's a bit of a chunkier character and I think the Autobots need a bit more variety in terms of body type to make them stand out more. Trailbreaker could be like the heavy duty technician along with Wheeljack that goes around with all these crazy inventions and, you know, fighting Decepticons. He could be a big character like Ironhide, Ratchet, maybe around the size of Optimus Prime, just to have some more diversity in terms of height. I think Trailbreaker could work. But out of all these characters, only Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, RC, Ratchet, and Ironhide are, in my opinion, almost guaranteed to be there. While Wheeljack, Prowl, Brawn, and Trailbreaker are pretty interchangeable. Like, you could have none of those guys appear, or you could have at least only 2 of those guys appear, depending on what Hasbro thinks is most suitable for the roster. But now for the Decepticons. The Decepticons are always a bit tricky because in the movies, most of the time the new characters that are part of the Decepticon roster are new characters. Even the Bumblebee movie, Shadow is a new character, while Dropkick is... in a way, also a new character, I guess. The Decepticons almost always outnumber the Autobots. Well, at least they used to before Age of Extinction, where the Autobots started outnumbering the Decepticons. Coincidentally, when the movie started getting really, really bad. So, there might be a correlation there, I don't know. But yeah, my first 2 choices are also obvious. Megatron and Starscream. They will both be heavily G1 influenced. Starscream will probably look very similar to how Blitzwing did in the Bumblebee movie, since a lot of people really did like that design. So no Dorito Starscream, and Megatron will transform into a tank. Because in War for Cybertron and Cyberverse, Megatron has been switched from a gun or a spaceship to a tank. And I think an imposing vehicle mode like that one really fits Megatron. I also think Soundwave will be in it because his appearance in the BB movie was, you know, met with so much praise from the fans. I think not having Soundwave there will be stupid. As for his cassettes, I know a lot of you guys would like to see all of them, but I think that we're probably only gonna see one. And since we do know they're filming in Peru, they're probably going to be filming in the jungles or the mountains. We're probably going to see some Autobot and Decepticon warfare in those places. I think Ravage makes the most amount of sense to come back. Either him or Lazybeak, so no Rumble. Sorry, Rumble fans. Now, my next choice is a returning character, and that is Barricade. Now, Barricade has appeared in War for Cybertron, and he's a popular character. He won the poll from Paramount for the most popular movie character. The fact that he won, he got so close, he went toe-to-toe with Optimus Prime in that poll, it baffles my mind. But he has also been depicted alongside the main Decepticon cast, such as Shockwave, Starscream, and Megatron, in a lot of the promotional material. So if he does come back, I think that he's gonna take notes from his evergreen design, and he's gonna be resembling more his last night with the blue and white, which honestly I think that look fits for him quite well. And if we're gonna have Barricade in the movie, then I guess that also increases the chances for a character like Prowl to appear, so we can have good cop versus bad cop. It makes sense. Now, my next character is also influenced by the Autobots. Since the Autobots are gonna have RC, I think it makes the most amount of sense to either have Slipstream or Shadow Striker. These two are interchangeable. Personally, I will go with Slipstream so she can be part of, Starscream's Seeker Armada, so they can be more threatening and not just cannon fodder. But Shadow Striker might be more fitting because I feel like Slipstream is more of Windblade's nemesis, and Shadow Striker will be one of those new characters you can add and then just kill off in the same movie. We need a female on the enemy team, and I think either one of these two will work. And for the next pick is the Seekers. Now the Seekers are pretty obvious because we need cannon fodder, and I just don't want to see the protoforms again just because I think they're kind of boring. The Seekers at least are very, interesting to look at. They have more personality even though they just get killed. And also by having the Seekers you can add characters like Skywarp, Thundercracker, and a bunch of others really easily. So at minimum I think we'll see those 7 Decepticons plus variety of Seeker repaints. But the maximum amount of Decepticons we can have in this movie I think are gonna be 10. We're gonna have at least 7 Decepticons, and at most they're gonna be 10. With the actual number of characters appearing likely being 8. But we might see more this time around because we have more cannon fodder in the form of the Seekers. My next choice for the other 3 Decepticons that might or might not appear in this movie depending on the size of the roster are Astrotrain. Now the reason why I have Astrotrain here is because he's been appearing on plenty of Transformers media lately. He appears in Cyberverse, appears on War for Cybertron, and while he doesn't do much, Astrotrain is one of those characters that will be really fun to have. Especially if they do decide to film here in New York, where there's a variety of trains. Astrotrain makes the perfect amount of sense. Like, New York is Astrotrain's environment. He can just transform into a train and then just go, fully into jet form. So if you're gonna be filming here, Astrotrain is one of those characters you just need to have. As for another character, I feel that the Decepticons need some muscle, especially on the ground. So I'm gonna say Bludgeon. I added Bludgeon here because he's a new character, and the Decepticons also need new faces, not just returning faces from previous movies. And I think Bludgeon will fit that quite well. Having him in the movie, especially in a condensed forest area, makes sense, and it will be a nice Easter egg to his appearance in the Transformers Cyber Missions. And for my last character, which I also believe it makes a whole lot of sense, will be Blackout. He's a very popular movie character, and while he hasn't had that many appearances since Transformers 1, his model does appear every now and then, and Hasbro actually does make plenty of toys of him despite not appearing for a long time. And also, again, if they're gonna be fighting in a forested area, a helicopter vehicle mode Decepticon makes a whole lot of sense, because those vehicles are perfect for traveling through that type of environment, especially in the air. At the very least, we'll probably see 7 of these Decepticons appear, at most we'll see 10, and the likely number that we'll actually see on the film will be around 8. But we're not done. Now it's time for the extras. What I mean by extras is characters that appear but are not part of the Autobots Decepticons. The first movie had the Allspark mutations, the second movie had the Ketchum bots and a few others, including the Primes. Transformers 3 didn't have any extras, but Transformers 4 and 5 did, like Quintessa, Infernicus, Lockdown, the Shadow Riders, and so on. Now, since the plot for this movie is still fairly mysterious, what we can expect to see as extra, characters that appear for like a brief cameo or probably mentioning a flashback or whatever or something like that, it's harder to predict. But I have 3 ideas of what we can expect to see. Now the first one, and I think this makes sense, and this is gonna tie back as to why they're filming in Peru, and that is Beast Wars characters. Now I'm not saying they're gonna appear in the film, we're gonna see Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime side by side. No, I don't think we're gonna see that, but we're gonna get a small Easter egg or flashback to them, because Beast Wars happens in the past, prehistoric Earth. There's time travel involved. Now, what's in Peru? The Nazca Lights. And what do we see? A monkey, a bird, and a bunch of other similar looking animals. There should be some connection. They could go to Peru, they could probably find like the golden disc from Beast Wars, or a bunch of words that tells them that long ago there were Transformers here, and that sets up a whole mystery of where did these guys came from, what are they doing here, what are they doing here. No Autobots knew this planet existed until a little while ago. Also, dinosaur bones can be found almost everywhere in the planet, so that's also another possible setup to them. Or we could even see Grimlock and the Dinobots, like, you know, they find the remains from long ago, or maybe they were part of Autobots that arrived on Earth a while ago, but, you know, they went into stasis and they scanned the dinosaur vehicle most like they did in IDW. There's a bunch of possibilities because Grimlock's a very popular character and Hasbro knows it. They've been pushing Grimlock a lot lately after Age of Extinction. So having a small teaser to him and his Dinobots is also possible, but what I think it makes the most amount of sense when it comes to what we can expect to see for the next movie is Allspark mutations. Just like we did for the first movie and just like we did for the second movie, I think the Allspark will be the driving force of this movie. Because in Cyberus and the Netflix series, the Allspark is basically the reason why the Autobots and Decepticons are on Earth. So for the reboot movie, I think it's gonna be the same. The Allspark's gonna be here. The Autobots and Decepticons are gonna be fighting for it all over again, and that's gonna lead them back to Peru, where they're either gonna find the remains of, you know, the Beast Wars, or Grimlock and his Dinobots, or maybe along the way they'll find that, you know, Allspark mutations have been popping around the world. Like, there's a lot you can do, but I definitely do believe the Allspark is in some shape or form going to take part of this film. But I definitely do believe we're gonna see extras in this movie. But yeah, guys, that's actually my list as to what characters I think are gonna appear in this movie. I know it's a bit of a long list because I had to explain my reasoning. Hopefully you guys, you know, are okay with it. In my opinion, we're gonna see possibly 7 Autobots and possibly 8 Decepticons. It's gonna be pretty even, though the number for the Decepticons is gonna be a bit larger if you count all of the Seeker repaints, the hordes of Seekers, the Cannon Fodder. But that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. Do you agree with my selection? Do you disagree? Out of all the characters I mentioned, how many do you think are gonna be in the movie? Which ones do you think are gonna appear in it? I wanna hear all about it in the comments down below, and in a year's worth time, when we're closing into the movie, I wanna go back to this video and see how much of this I got right and how much of it I got wrong. But I have a pretty good feeling about the Autobots. I think I'm spot on with the Autobots. With the Decepticons, I'm a bit more skeptical, but I did try to use my best judgment for it. So I hope that's good enough for you guys. Make sure to join my Discord server. I want to try and reach 1k members by my birthday, June 28th. So if you guys want to help me with that, it will be much appreciated. Feel free to go and donate to my Patreon if you want to, and stay tuned for my animations that I'm going to upload in my channel sometime in the future. And I have a lot of cool stuff planned, the return of some previous series that I have neglected for quite a while, as well as some more fun speculation for the Transformers 7 movie. Super happy to be back and free from college. I have a lot of cool stuff planned. I hope you guys will continue to stay around and, you know, support me like you have. It means a lot to me, and yeah, I'm not good for this sentimental stuff. You guys know that already. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I promise I won't take a month to upload. And bye, guys. Anyways, guys, before we go, shout out to our amazing Patreons: TrueBlue712, Stitch Productions, Stephanie Ballard, Christopher Prime, Predaking Hunter Plays, Mario Gordon, Allspark Studios, Scrublord, and huge shout out to the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100, and to our even big boss patron, XNooter23, who donated what I can only describe as a amount of money. I'll leave you guys to figure out how much. Thank you guys for your donation. It's very much appreciated by me and Squeaker, even though Squeaker is way too lazy to thank you. I tip my fedora in gratitude and put on my Supreme Gentleman hat in your honor. Link to our Patreon and the channels will be in the description down below for you guys to check out. Some of them do Transformers content, some of them do their own little thing, funny moments, their own animations. There's quite a diverse range of content here, so if you ever feel interested in checking other people out, check these guys. And if you guys want to shout out your subs, all you gotta do is donate to our Patreon. If you donate to our Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You get a shout out in my videos, you can collab with me in some of my videos if you so choose to, request your own videos, exclusive roles in my Discord servers. There's plenty more coming. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. But keep in mind that it's entirely optional because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for donating. It's much appreciated. If you guys want to donate, you know what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, guys.